Hello, friends. Welcome to our New Year's Eve Tuesday lunch chat. I'm actually coming to you live from here in my house, partially because I've been sick the last week and partially just because it's New Year's Eve and I didn't want to make myself go in. So welcome. I'm not even sure if anyone would expect me to go live today or not, but here I am. And there it is. I have some fun stuff for you today. It's going to be a short chat, but we're going to wrap up the year-end numbers for 2024 and go over my knitting projects just quickly. I'm going to tell you all about this beauty that I'm wearing right here and a couple other surprise announcements that are going to be really exciting. So buckle up. Here we go. 2024 by the numbers. Somehow I managed to just blow my goal out of the water. For years now, like 2 or 3 years now, I've knit around 36-ish projects a year, and my goal has always been 40, not quite made it, in multiple years. This year, 51. I hit 51. 51 and a half, because there's a pair of socks I started at Christmas, like on Christmas Day, and I am through the heel of the second sock. So I'm so close. I'm not going to have time to knit tonight, but that would make it 52. So very, very close on hitting 52 out of 40, which is over 125%. I don't know why. But excuse me, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'll take it. It feels great to have been that productive. My shawl just fell off. So I want a breakdown of what I made. Actually, I'm going to take this off for a second until we talk about it because I'm so hot. This is a t-shirt my sister gave me for Christmas. It says Hex the Patriarchy. Okay. Out of those 51 and a half projects, I made 3 shawls. That I think is a little bit low for me. Normally, I think I make more shawls than that. 2 chickens. Yep. Usually I don't ever make anything stuffed or toy-like. So 6/6.5 socks. I've made 6.5 socks. It's actually 6.75 if, we're going to get technical. But that's quite a bit, I think, for me. I should compare this. I'm just totally speaking off the cuff. But I think that's more than I typically make in a year. 16 hats. 16. Part of the reason there was so many hats is because if you remember my Aunt Jillian's hat design that came out kind of summertime, I believe, that was a hat done in 5 gauges, and I knit 4 out of the 5 of those samples. So, or maybe 6 gauges, and I knit 5 out of the 6. Anyway, at any rate, it was a lot, and I made a lot of hats. 1 scarf, just 1. That's the Alexandra's airplane scarf that I made as part of our Knitmas promotions, and I absolutely love it. It is the longest mindless tube, but it's so satisfying, and you get to knit with the most beautiful yarn because it's pebble and silk cloud held together. So 7 cowls, pretty decent. 4 mittens types of things. 4 pairs, that is, not 4 total. That would be 8 total. 1 blanket that was finishing my Afghan. So I did the knitting of the squares in previous years, but I knit the border and put it together in 2024. And 8.5 pullovers. Oh yeah. 0 cardigans and 8.5 pullovers. For a moment, I already forgot why it says 0.5. The 0.5 because I started a second spill the tea and I knit it up to the end of the design, like the lace design. And then I stalled out and Julia was like, hey, you gonna finish that? And so I passed it off to her. She finished it. It fits her. It looks beautiful on her and it's hers now. So I'm going to count a half of a pullover for doing half of that. So, and out of all of those things that I knit, those 52 and a half projects, 12 of them were original designs. So, that's pretty cool. Well, actually, no, that would be 16 were designs, but 12 were new. I had 12 new designs this year. That's what I meant to say. I think that's pretty good. I feel very, very good about that. In the past, it hasn't bothered me to not hit my goal. I mean, it's just a knitting goal. It's totally arbitrary, but hitting it and surpassing it feels really good. So, you're so right. Carol says it takes a village, Julia. Yes, indeed. Especially when the village notices that the project has disappeared and is not being worked on or talked about or discussed in any way. And the village is like, some of us would like that sweater. Okay. Before we talk about Artus, I want to remind you we're having an after Christmas sale right now. So all of our holiday goodies, stocking stuffers, those kinds of things, they're on sale 30% off. There's a few yarns that are on sale 30% off. And then additionally, our hand knit samples are 50% off. That's a huge deal because that also includes originals from Olive Knits. She likes to send us the samples that she doesn't need anymore because one person can only own so many pieces of knitwear. And I know the answer is like, 200, but she's got way more than 200 or whatever the answer is. So we just can't hang on to all of them as knitters, and especially for her as a designer. So she sends them to us, Not Another Hat. We're the only place that offers them for sale, and we sell them on consignment for her. So that money's going back to her to recoup her expenses that she laid out to knit them in the first place. And I know a lot of people think that designers are always given yarn from yarn companies, but that is not the case at all. You might frequently be given yarn if you're designing for that company, but if you're just doing your own design for your own publication, etc., you're choosing the yarns. So that's an expense she fronts. She also pays knitters, etc., and all of the other, the expenses that go into writing and editing and all of that. So we sell her samples for her, and she wanted to include them in our sale. So 50% off Olive Knits originals is a screaming deal. These are one of a kind, beautifully hand knit. There's sweaters. There's lots of kids sweaters. There's designs from Knit a Little. So there's kids sweaters, kids hats, shawls from the shawl book, several of her, stash busting patterns. Lots of beauties. You can go browse those all on our website. And so ours are also 50% off. Do not be ashamed if you are a knitter and you buy a finished gift for somebody else, because you could have done it. So, you just outsourced it. That's all. Okay. I'm going to talk about Artus really quick, and then I have one more announcement, and it's very important. So be sure you stick around all the way through the end. Yes, Marie Green of Olive Knits. Thank you. Those are the samples I was talking about. She's published 5 books, I think, so far. And so there's a lot of samples that have come out of those. And then she publishes throughout the year individual patterns. So she is prolific. Okay. This is one of my FOs. So happy to have finished it before the end of the year. This is Artus. Artus. And this beauty is knit in Manos, Uruguay, Alpaca Heather. This had my attention for quite a while before I actually picked out the yarn and cast on. Look at the texture in here. See if I can get the window light on it. It is so beautiful and squishy. It just feels amazing. So we have kind of a waffle knit pattern here. It's a knit purl pattern. There's a tiny little bit of 2-color work. Where's that slip stitch? I think it's 2-color. My colors are very close in my sample. It's like a darker yellow and a lighter yellow. So you might not be able to really pull that out. You can kind of get it better right in this stripe. But the rest of this is not stranded. It is slip stitch. So if you see this and you're like, no, I can't do it. Carol, you already snagged one? You are on it. Go, Carol. I haven't even got to that announcement yet. So this is slip stitch. You're only ever working with one color in a row, and you're slipping the other color. So this is just not as complicated as it looks. I forgot to write down the designer's name. I apologize for that. But it's such a fun, lovely shawl to knit with. And then you have this beautiful wide I-cord bind off that just creates such a lovely bottom edge. I loved every second of knitting this shawl. Honest to goodness. So, true to form, guess who made bundles? So I made 5 Artus bundles. It does take a good amount of yarn. It takes 2 of the 100-gram skeins of Manos Alpaca Heather. I used beige here. It takes 2 of the 100-grammers. Or 4 of the 50-grammers. So Manos, just to back up, it's a 70-30 merino alpaca blend. And so I love that amount of alpaca because I don't want a lot of alpaca in my yarn. I want some for that softness and richness, but I want more wool to balance it in terms of drape and stitch definition. So this is like a dream yarn for me, this 70 wool, 30 alpaca blend. And they make 3 of the natural colors in 100-gram skeins because people tend to want more quantity of those. And then they make a whole range of beautifully dyed colors in 50-gram skeins, so you don't have to buy as much, like for a project like this. So for example, I used 200-gram skeins of beige, and then 2 50-grammers each of the light and dark yellow. You can see them better in the slip stitch pattern in terms of contrast than you can in the 2-color pattern right here. And then 1 each of these 2, the dark and light turquoise. This is North Sea and Helium. This is Icarus and Honeycomb. But you don't have to remember that because I made you a bundle. Bundle number 2 is my colorway on our website. And so there are 4 other bundles I put together, and I've labeled them so you can see which one's color 1, color 2, etc. And I broke it down in the description as well, like which ones of mine were each of those colors. It can get hard to keep track of because of how they switch all throughout. But yeah, it is just entertaining and scrumptious when it's finished and beautiful to wear. There's a cardigan. This designer has released an Artus cardigan, and you better believe that that is weighing heavily on my mind right now. Yes, Manos Alpaca Heather is a sport weight yarn. Thank you, Kara, for asking. And so this, the gauge of this is 5.5 stitches to the inch in pattern. And you actually switch back and forth from a 4 to a 5, depending on which part of the pattern you're using. Actually, I don't think I switched back and forth. I think that I was pretty confident my gauge was going to be the same, and I did the whole thing on a 5. I think. Wow, you guys can see how quickly I released that information off into the ether. I'm pretty sure that's what I did though. So go check out our Artist bundles. You get a little bit of a discount when you buy it in the bundle form, but of course you could put together your own combination. Absolutely. Okay. Last little thing. It's just a quick announcement, but you're going to want to tune in. We are ready to kick off a January knit along. We do this every year. We're going to do the Carbeth designs this year by Kate Davies. So you could choose the pullover or the cardigan. These are super great to do this time of year because you get to start your year off with a quick win because it's done in bulky yarn, 3.5 stitches to the inch. It's a very flattering fit with the construction, the way it's made. And we've made several samples over the years. We've got the cardigan in the store right now in a mono terre. And in previous years, we've had the pullover as a sample as well. So we will be doing a live chat with me and Ingrid, woohoo, 1 week from today on the 7th at noon, where we will talk about all things about the knit along. We'll show you the yarns, etc., give you all the details. But you can sign up already if you know this is for you and you want to participate. If you sign up, you'll get an email with a coupon code for a discount on the yarns for the knit along. And Julia's got a blog post all put together with all of that information, including the sign up form, etc. So yes, we'll be kicking it off in just a few weeks, but plenty of time to tune in on Tuesday the 7th, get your yarn, etc. Being that this is kind of a larger gauge project, it's one of those where you're not going to have to get bogged down in a gazillion tiny little stitches, etc. So check it out. It's going to be super fun. And yes, it's virtual, entirely virtual. Our fearless hostess, Ingrid, will be leading the way as she has done so well with all our previous knit alongs. And we will have online Zoom meetups, 3 or 4 of them throughout January, early February. It's going to lead us right up to the highlight of the year, which will be the 2nd annual Not Another Dead Body knit along later this spring. So this is a great way to bide your time until we get the sequel to last year's murder mystery knit along. Okay, that was my big announcement. So make sure you mark your calendars for next Tuesday at 12 noon Pacific. That'll be Ingrid and I coming to you live from inside the shop to talk all things January Carbeth knit along. Okay, everybody, I hope you have a lovely New Year holiday. I cannot wait to see what 2025 has in store for all of us together in the Not Another Hat community. And whatever it is, it's going to be our 20th year. I know it's going to be really, really fun. So, all right, friends, take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye.